The angels are here.
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Ace's Angels, y'all. So, it's time to talk about this whole thing with Kelsey Mitchell. Kind of a conspiracy theory thing that's going on. So, I wanted to get into it, man. And I haven't done a Kelsey Mitchell video in a while, like a dedicated Kelsey Mitchell video. So I said, we're gonna do one here on Kelsey Pistol Mitchell. Okay, so y'all know my feelings on this channel about Mitchell. Y'all know I'm not really in favor of keeping her. I got no problem with her as a person, but it's more down to just how she connects in this offense and the defense on the court with the team. I just think that we could do better. I think she's a loser, to be honest with y'all. Like, one of the things that I always had a problem with Mitchell in the past season is how there's a select amount of people out there that try to give her credit on the Fever going to the playoffs. And some people trying to give her the most credit, right? Some people was really trying to give her more credit than Cece. So, you got someone here who was the leader of the team for 6 years. Maybe roughly like 4 years, because, she was a rookie. She probably wasn't a leader in 2018. Right. Or maybe even 2019. But at least starting in 2020, she was definitely the leader. But let's just throw this out there. 6 years from 2018 to 2023, Kelsey Pistol Mitchell, who played in most of the games in her career, never led the Indiana Fever to the playoffs on her own. Never. Not one time. Never led them to the playoffs, never led them to a winning record. Even when Christy Sass got here and the team went 13-27? Still, never led them to the playoffs, right? So, ironically, this rookie guard from Iowa comes in, and ironically, the team makes the playoffs at that point, but we're not going to give Caitlin Clark the credit, right? We're not going to give Caitlin Clark the credit for taking the team to the playoffs. Right. And then people try to say, oh, without Kelsey Mitchell, you're not going to the playoffs. How do you know that, though? If, let's just say, this team had either Sophie Cunningham or a Kelsey Plum in that same spot, they're not, or even Grace Berger in that spot, right? They're not making the playoffs. Are they really not making the playoffs? Because I'll tell you what, for every point that Kelsey Mitchell got, she gave it right back to the other team. The best example was every time she went against Enrique Ungwale, bro, from Dallas. Every time she went against Enrique, it seemed like she gave those points right back to Enrique. So Kelsey Mitchell comes down, hit a three. Enrique comes right back, hits a three, right in her face. So what's the benefit of her scoring if she's going to come back and give up those points anyways? Y'all understand me now with this whole defensive concept? Yes, you're going to score, but if you're giving those points right back, does it really matter? And my main problem with Mitchell is that she's a cone on defense. She's one of the worst defenders in the league. I say she's bottom 5 in the league as far as worst defenders. Then, at least if she could do this, it'd be a little better. She can't even facilitate the offense. She can't pass. It's ugly when she runs the point. So Cece, because Sass didn't want to play Berger or even Christy Wallace, the offense just looked terrible when Mitchell played. Because if Wheeler was not out there, like Wheeler, I like Erica Wheeler because she did save this team from Kelsey Mitchell running the offense a lot more. If Erica Wheeler, because Christy Sass was not playing, it seemed like she didn't really want to play Grace Berger. Barely played Christy Wallace in the second half. And she doesn't want to play these guards, right? who are rotting on the bench. If it wasn't for Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell would have been the point guard a lot more. And the offense was always ugly when she ran the point. Because she can't run point guard. So we're losing two things there. Her running the point. And then, with her not being able to pass. And then the defense. She doesn't really hustle either. Like, she's not a Lexi Hall where she hustles, so the intangibles aren't there. Another thing that's crazy to me, that's always been crazy to me, especially for CC fans. I'm disgusted with any CC fans who support Mitchell, because I'm going to say this. I will never forget how she shunned CC out of this offense. Not just in the first half of the season. She was still doing the second half. It just wasn't as consistent as it was in the first half. Because Kelsey Mitchell changed some things up, but she was still doing the same things. Like, she always went into these lapses where she will have her head down, dribble, not pass it to anybody. Now, she'll pass it to Boston, but she ain't pass it to nobody else on the team. Lexi Hall be wide open. Lexi, I'm here. Caitlin Clark, Nalissa Smith be wide open. Victoria Saxon, Demiris Dantes, Timmy. These people aren't getting the ball because, like, Kelsey Mitchell's, like, got her head down and not passing. Dribble. And I'm like, bro, that is embarrassing that Caitlin Clark, I think Caitlin Clark was leading the league in unassisted points. I think it was like 80%, like over 80%. That was embarrassing, bro. Caitlin Clark got most of her points unassisted. And how are you a guard? I don't care if you're a shooting guard. Michael Jordan had 5 assists a game. You only have like 1 or 2 assists. Every game, like, it's not just one game here and there, or that you had 1 or 2 assists being a guard. You literally only had like 1 or 2 assists, and it was probably Aaliyah Boston, because Aaliyah Boston at least knows how to finish around the rim. But it's crazy that Caitlin Clark really didn't have her points off of assists. So I'm supposed to believe that CC should trust Kelsey Mitchell going forward. Kelsey Mitchell's almost 30 years old. She's not changing her game. It's going to be hard for her to get better defensively, because now she's about to approach the wrong side at 30, which means she's going to lose some of her quickness soon. If you're familiar with football, running backs tend to expire before other positions because they lose their speed just by getting older. They got the wear and tear. They start to lose their speed. Kelsey Mitchell's about to lose her speed, bro. And if we want to win multiple titles, we need to really consider the core. Let's talk about the core. Then I want to talk about the whole Monte Ellis, Klay Thompson situation one more time to y'all, man. So Monday's press conference, Stephanie White gets introduced. We had the whole, all the leaders of the organizations have her assignment up there, right? We got Kelly Krauskopf up there, the new team president. We also finally got a chance to see Amber Cox, the new GM. We got a chance to see her talk to the media for the first time. And then we had Stephanie White right in the middle. We also had a few players that attended this conference. We had Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Lexi Hall. Now, some people had a problem with Lexi Hall being there for whatever reason, because they felt like the conspiracy theory is that this is the core 3, right? And I've been telling y'all since August that the real core 3, and I believe we'll have a core 4. We'll have a core 4. But the core 3, I've been saying this since August, is Boston, Hall, and Clark, right? Kelsey Mitchell wasn't there, but she was also in China, right? She was in China. But I went to one of my favorite Indiana Fever, has become my new, like, I love listening to this guy talk, man. Chocolate Place. I like listening to this dude. He made a video having concern about Kelsey Mitchell. Now, he's not a Kelsey Mitchell, like he likes Kelsey Mitchell, so he was legitimately worried why she wasn't there. And people was telling him he shouldn't worry, she's in China. But he was telling y'all, like, he kind of felt like the non-mentioning of Kelsey Mitchell was kind of interesting, right? And then another thing that I would like to know, and this is something that we probably won't know and we probably won't ever know. Has the front office been regularly checking in on Kelsey Mitchell overseas? Like, I'm talking about, because this is someone that's going to be a free agent, unrestricted free agent. Have they been having conversations about what they're going to do with her? And then a few people I noticed, so she doesn't win the player of the month for August, right? And her play starts to deteriorate. Like, she was hot at one point, and then starting with the Sparks game, so after the Dallas Wings game, it was announced, I believe, somewhere in that period of time. Maybe even the same day they faced the Sparks. Because the day before, which was my birthday, they won they clinched the playoff berth, right? For the first time since 2016. And then the day after they faced the Sparks. This is September the 4th. And ever since then, Kelsey Mitchell's play has gone down. Like, it's been inconsistent. She wasn't as hot as she was those previous 2 weeks. And some people starting to speculate because she was selfish, she didn't really want to play for the team no more. Like, I mean, in terms of doing more and playing the same as she was, because she was salty about not winning player of the month. So the conspiracy theory out there is that Kelsey Mitchell was doing a lot more this season because this is a contract year. And it's clear that Kelsey Mitchell needs the money because she went to China to go get her $1 million, right? It's clear that Kelsey Mitchell needs the money. And so it looks like she tried to have this, like, historic season for herself in her career to get a bigger payday. So the question is, that means she's not a team player, right? And she mentioned a couple of times she's got to do what she's got to do when in terms of free agency, because she was asked about free agency, and she always said, I got to do what's best for me. And that's true. Like, here's the thing, man. We can criticize Kelsey Mitchell all we want, but at the end of the day, as a person, as a player, this is a business, and you do have to look out for yourself and take care of yours. I don't have a problem with Kelsey Mitchell trying to get money. That's what she's got to do. That's what she's got to do. She's a grown-ass woman. She got to do what she got to do. She don't got too many years left of playing because she's almost 30. She probably got a good, I would say this right now, she's about to turn 29 this month, I believe. She's probably got a good 5 or 6 years, depending on her health, of playing at a high level, right? But the Fever have to think about their cap situation too. Now, if they core her, that's just a 1-year deal, right? Which is a possibility of what I think they're likely to do that and core her. But here's been my issue with this whole thing. With Stephanie White being the new coach round, you have someone that has a new vision. You got to also remember, Stephanie White had a really good defensive team in Connecticut. She was used to a 2-guard named Dejanay Carrington, who we do hate, but we do also know Dejanay Carrington is one of the best elite defenders in the league. Could go toe-to-toe with anybody in that backcourt and has been a nuisance to Caitlin Clark in that backcourt, right? She's used to having a 2-guard that can play defense. So going down to Kelsey Mitchell is kind of like a downgrade, right? In terms of now, it's an upgrade offensively because Dejanay is nowhere near as good as Mitchell offensively, in terms of shooting the ball and scoring the ball. But she loses a lot defensively with her, and someone that really can't pass well either. So Stephanie White could look at this as a situation where, hey, let's bring back Mitchell for one season. Or she could be looking at this and saying, hey, 2026, I want me a new shooting guard. Sabrina Ionescu's a free agent that year. Well, probably pretty much the whole entire league because they're going to this lockout that year. But because of TV rights that's coming up. And owners threatening to get their money back. So, right now, I mean, NBA owners that's supporting the league. There's a lot of issues there. So, is there something going on that we don't know about where the Fever, maybe Mitchell even knows this, like, my time might be up here in Indiana. There's a whole new regime. This is really a new team. The CC's team now. It really ain't my team no more. Am I ready to go? You know? And I've been saying, I think this is something that could be brewing. And one thing I will never take seriously is anything they say, these people say in the media. Because they're not going to say we're not bringing Mitchell back, okay? They're not going to say that to the public. You're going to bring her trade value down because they could sign and trade Mitchell, right? They could sign and trade Mitchell. I need to look into the core rules if they could trade someone that's cored. I need to look into that because the WNBA rules might be different than other leagues when it comes to core players. So, but they could sign and trade her for a Sophie Cunningham, right? Did I do this video already? Did I record that video? Because I got a Sophie Cunningham video coming out for y'all, so be on the lookout for it. I might have to redo it though, but you know, trade her there or try to go get Kate Martin. You could probably get anything you want from Mitchell, and this is why they have to not say we're not bringing her back or anything because it's going to bring her value down. Everyone's going to know you want to get rid of her, so teams aren't going to be that desperate to give you what you want, right? Now, if you don't say anything about it, her trade value stays high. A lot of teams still need a shooter, so Kelsey Mitchell will fit. Maybe she's that last piece on a team that's trying to win a championship. Maybe the Aces are looking at it like, hey, we might lose Kelsey Plum. We can at least try to go get a shooter and Kelsey Mitchell, especially if Kennedy Carter isn't back in the league next year, you know, because she's another option. We don't know if Chicago's going to keep her or not. So there's a lot of interesting things. Maybe even Chicago go try to go get Kelsey Mitchell. We don't know. All right. We don't know what's going to happen with that stuff. We'll find out then. But I do believe, okay, one thing that I am a little certain of is that Mitchell is definitely going to be protected from the Valkyries, okay? Because it wouldn't be the right move to unprotect her. Like, if you can really trade Mitchell, I believe that's the option. Same thing with Nalissa. You're gonna have to protect Nalissa so you can trade her, right? You're not protecting them to keep them, you're protecting them to trade them. So I believe those two players will be kept. And then obviously the other three will be Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hall, Caitlin Clark. Then there's one more slot. It should go to anybody. I hope it's Grace Berger. But, you know, next best option would be maybe Victoria Sassy because I really liked her game. But we'll see what they do. But if you look at this situation with her and Caitlin Clark in that backcourt, right? Because I need to get close. Yeah, we need to get close to the end of this video. So if you look at this situation with her and Caitlin Clark, I always compared it to the whole Golden State Warriors thing, right? I've been doing this for a long time. Monte Ellis, right? And I think this is a situation because look, there's a lot of people in the Fever fan base that like Kelsey Mitchell, man. It is what it is. Most of these people, especially the people who don't watch the WNBA or women's college hoops outside of Caitlin Clark. Like, they're not even watching Iowa. These are the same people I'm talking about. The only option they know is Kelsey Mitchell because that's all they watch. They don't realize there's other guards out there. They don't even realize Grace Berger could probably step in for Kelsey Mitchell, right? But they don't realize there's other guards out there. And this is a guard-heavy draft. So many options. Mick Talks Hoops just talked about Haley Van Leaf. I just got through watching that one. I talked to one of my commenters about Bridget Carleton, bringing her in next offseason. Like, there's so many options. Sabrina Ionescu, but I don't think Sabrina's leaving at Liberty, but, you know, she's an option the year after, right? So there's so many options. Kelsey Plum this year. You could trade for Sophie Cunningham. Get Kate Martin back in here. There's so many options. Then you get all the draft picks. Sonia Cintron. Lucy Olsen look like she's going to be the real deal, man. Sydney Paris, Sydney Afalter. There's so many guards. Martine Powell. Well, Silas Swords is only 18, but we got to talk about her in a different video. So many guards, man. So many guards. And I haven't even named, there's a few more guards out there that they could take. But the Warriors fan base loved them some Monte Ellis, right? And Steph Curry was in a difficult position because Steph at that time when Monte was on the team, he was getting injured a lot. And the organization was actually thinking about trading him. This is a true story. Like, this is a story that I heard from Carcino for Life. And I think somebody else had confirmed this story as well on a different channel I was watching. That they were going to trade Steph Curry, right? They were thinking about trading Steph Curry. They drafted Klay Thompson. And Klay Thompson was actually drafted as somebody that was possibly going to replace Steph, right? And they drafted him in 2011. And they still had Monte Ellis on the team. So a decision eventually had to be made about Steph Curry and Monte Ellis, who they were going to trade. They ended up pushing the right domino, and it ended up being Monte Ellis. Lots of Warrior fans were pissed about that because at that time, they loved Steph, but at that time, there was a lot of uncertainty with Steph, right? Because he always got hurt. And so people were pissed. He got traded to Milwaukee, Monte Ellis. And Monte Ellis was the older, veteran player, but he was Asian as well. And he was just like Mitchell. He was a scorer, shooter. He really didn't do much outside of that. He was a cone on defense. So they were pissed. But then something magically happened. So after he got traded, Steph Curry play started elevating. Then he got a full season with this team. Klay Thompson was a starter next to him. They got Draymond Green. And the rest was history. The Warriors made the playoffs that next season. And Steph became a star, right? He led that team to the playoffs. And they surprisingly upset the Denver Nuggets in the first round of playoffs and ended up facing San Antonio. And that was a really good San Antonio team because he had Kawhi Leonard, young Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan. That team probably could have won the finals, but we know what happened with them against the Heat. LeBron and the Heat, Ray Allen saved LeBron James in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and Miami won the last title with LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh, the big three. And then the next season, the Spurs got their revenge. There was a little bit more focus, and they were able to win with Kawhi Leonard, shutting down LeBron and winning Finals MVP. And then that led LeBron to want to go to Cleveland. In that season after, Steph Curry and the Warriors went to the finals and beat LeBron because the Cavs didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love. They got injured. But either way, it was a weird situation, but also very interesting, right? Very interesting. So they go on and win, 3 of the next 4 titles. Steph Curry ends up winning 4 through this point. So the trade worked out. And it worked out because Klay Thompson was a young player with Steph. And then Draymond was a young player as well in that core. This is why Lexi belongs in the core. Because she's young. She's 25. She's more closer to CeCe in Boston. What's Boston going to be like, 24? CeCe's going to be 23. They're on the same timeline. And I believe we'll get a core 4, but it depends on who else we bring in. Maybe it's Satu Sabally. Who knows? We'll get a core 4 eventually. But is Mitchell in the core 4 or not? I don't know. I don't think she is. And I don't think the Fever will regret trading her. You know what? I wouldn't really let her walk, but if we could get something out of her, that would be the best option. But I think it's time to say goodbye to Kelsey Mitchell. I think she's done enough. She's been here 7 years. I think they've done enough. Because we're not winning a title with her because she can't play defense. How are you going to win a title? We saw the playoffs. The last 4 teams could play defense. The Lynx got there because they could play defense. The Liberty had to play defense to win the title. We have to play defense in order to win, guys. True story. And I think Stephanie White, who talked about defense in that, she talked about defense in that press conference in the interview she did after on the Indiana Fever Channel. She talked about defense. And she's talking about the depth on the team. So she wants to build that up as well. I think it's time, y'all, to let go of Mitchell, man. I think it's time for her to go. Okay? I don't know what they're going to do, but I think it's time. All right, y'all? Let's see. All right? I'm not going to run an outro in this video. I'm just going to go ahead and end it right here because it's a long video. So I'm going to go ahead and, that's why I didn't really even want to do no intros or nothing like that because I knew this would be a long video. But go ahead and get this video a like, share, subscribe. Y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Aces Angels.